Hi there and welcome to today's instalment of Guyver Pen. Today I want to discuss the bright flashes scientists have discovered in space. Apparently they're baffled by it, but I believe I have the answer. First of all, I just want to show you this icon. This icon I found some time ago. I was actually looking up the Karbula Tree of Life, but I come across this icon and it looked very familiar to me. If you notice here that the numbers seem to be listed backwards, as if to say it should be viewed this way up. And when you view it this way up, I notice quite a few similarities. Now if you say, if this was the forces of a galaxy, you have the supermassive black hole at the centre. Now scientists have only recently discovered gravitational waves in space. They've also only recently discovered that supermassive black holes actually have a beam of radiation emanating out the centre. And this icon, I think, actually precedes those discoveries and seems to display those actions. And if you imagine you've got the swirling of space, this powerful beam swirling around at the speed of light, or possibly faster, and you'd have this swirling effect in space, around like so. And here we have the veil of the abyss, which also made me think, hang on a second, this looks like it's actually a diagram of the forces of the galaxy. You see the veil of the abyss, anything outside this sort of oval shape would be just nothing, absolutely nothing, until the next galaxy. So that was really quite interesting. But then, so now here I've got an icon of basically the forces of space. Now, sorry, galaxy. And if you see, like, it would have a positive and a negative side, just like a battery or anything with a flow of energy. We always have a positive and a negative side. And see, here we have the beam shooting at the centre. Now, what I believe is happening is a supermassive black hole is pulling in solar systems at a time. And instead of crushing them down to infinity, what it actually does is it breaks the covalent bonds and releases them from their from their shackles, basically. Now, inside these particles are things that normally would be rejected, pushed away, resistance, or repulsion rather. But what's happening is when they're released from their bonds, is you've got the positive matter that's getting shot out in a beam, and then you've got matter with no inertia, no charge or whatever. It's just like hangs around like a boson field, like the negative mass emanating in a cloud. And you've got the equilibrium here where all the planets are about. That's because the sun shines on 50% of the surface at any one time, so it's both positive and negative at the same time. So it hangs around in the equilibrium. But what I think the purpose of this stuff is, and it's possibly dark matter, is basically it's a buffer zone between galaxies. So if you look here, say you've got your beam shooting out the positive side, but that negative side is emanating like a gas. And this gas, or this boson field, or dark matter, whatever you call it, is it's just hanging around in between galaxies. Now galaxies are all made up of positive matter. Now that positive matter is attracted, so these things will be pulling each other together. Now what's to stop all these galaxies from bumping into each other? What's to stop that that attractive force from attracting them all together and causing a devastating effect? You see, these little clouds here that float in between act like a buffer zone, basically, and because they have no energy or inertia themselves, they kind of just get goaded into certain areas by the repulsive force between matter and antimatter. And I believe that's what gives the solar system structure and stops it from actually bumping into each other and cataclysmic sort of events or whatever. But yeah, so I mean that's food for thought. You know, whether I don't know, it's a theory, obviously. You know, it's not gospel, but yeah, that's certainly a theory. But also, what I have noticed about this as well, this icon here, is that it's the similarity between. So this is like a Roman standard, where you have this sort of cross section here, and you have these 4 points: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And also this is the wand of the gods, which is pretty much identical with this bit going around here. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you have the eagle, whatever, perched on the top. And that's usually held by the person in red in paintings. Regarding guys like the Rothschild red, you know, red of the gods, lucky red, whatever you call it. Red of the devil, in fact. That's more food for thought. But yeah, basically what's happening is these the particles. So sorry, that the mass of the solar system is getting pulled out into the centre of a black hole and released within a few seconds. Now they say they're as bright as galaxies, but the reason that is because galaxies only shine out their surface. You only see the surface emanation, and the surface emanation that's actually heading in your direction. So there's if you imagine every single particle from a solar system all shooting at you at once, is going to appear to be emanating as bright as a galaxy, as if all the energy of a galaxy is being dispersed. Whereas, in actual fact, like I say, you can only see the surface light of anything that's only surface light that's heading in your direction. So, yeah, so that's what I think that these big bright flashes in space are. They're not, they're not exploding galaxies or neutron stars or anything colliding together. They're actually just the matter being pulled into a black hole and released from its bonds. And obviously, like I said, the negative stuff emanating from the negative end and the positive stuff from the positive end. But if space seems to have rhyme and reason. It's not just, oh, this is just happening. I mean, there are reasons for these things and what's happening. And maybe we're part of something bigger. Who knows? Like the female egg, the human egg, starts very small, explodes, keeps going outwards, until eventually dies and then turns to gas. Just breaks down. And I think that's pretty much what's happening to our galaxy or universe, sorry, should I say? But yeah, there you go. That's my theory anyway. And if anybody does know this icon, they've seen it before, or they know what it's called or whatever, I would be interested to hear from you. Or if anybody's got any other theories or comments to make, then yeah, please leave them in the comments box below. Right, well, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks, bye.